Hello and welcome to another wonderfully professional episode of the Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. I've used the other intro because I clicked on the wrong video. Marvellous start to the day. God, this is great. Joining me today to talk about things in a much better professional manner than I am is Claire.
Promises,
Hello, Claire.
mate.
all your work groups now are going, yeah, we're not listening anymore beyond this. It's all a ploy to stop them listening.
No.
Yeah, it's all a ploy to make them go, well, that's enough. I can pretend I heard her. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Still a little bit shell-shocked from last night, to be quite honest. I fully intended to come home and go straight to bed, and then like about 3 hours later, still lying there wide awake, like,
rolling.
What actually just happened? Like, What is going on? Crazy.
I have a new theory, and I'm thinking along the lines of we're either about to announce or Matt has got some dealings with some in-play betting app, because I've made not a fortune. I don't bet a lot of money, but I've made quite a good profit on as soon as Sutton go a goal down. I'm like, here we go, let's get on there.
95th minute. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys. And I know I think another guy, Nick, has made a little bit of the weekend. The weekend and yesterday as well. So, but any players that do listen, we quite like boring 2-0 wins as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you could score 2 goals in the first 5 minutes and then do nothing for the rest of the game, we're quite happy with that as well. They're just as good. But yeah, crazy bunch. So what were your thoughts? I mean, I have to say, I was a little bit too confident because I was like, oh, you know what, it's Colchester.
I think there was a little bit of an element of that going into it, wasn't there? You know, we've been lucky and had 2 really good results against them earlier in the season, you know, in the league and also in the Pizza Cup. So you kind of think to yourself, oh, we're just playing them again. Like, it's just kind of going through the paces. So I must admit, I probably felt the same going into it, thinking, oh, yeah, no, it's fine, done deal. And that first goal was a bit of a, oh, okay,
here's a play. Damn it.
Yeah, like we're actually going to have to try a little bit harder here. And I think I was a bit disappointed. And then there was a moment kind of where I was very much sulking because it wasn't going the way I intended to. And I think even John James turned around to me and went, "Why the face?" And I was like, "Because we're losing, and I don't know how to deal with that right now."
It's a new thing.
New for me. Carry on. But yeah, I think we didn't allow ourselves to kind of rest on what was going on, did we? We to bring out some of the cliches. We go to the end, don't we? And we don't give up. We refuse to accept that we're beaten. So it's a nice way to end it. But I'm not sure that my heart can take many more games like that. It's just unreal.
Yeah, I mean, I say a little bit of overconfidence or arrogance, I don't know, but the Newport County guys were speculating that on Saturday, if things went their way, they could be third. And they were saying, oh, we need this result, and if they draw, I was like, you're forgetting we got Colchester tonight. That's almost a gimme. What's wrong with you? And then as that goal went in, I was like, why? How do I delete that? Quickly get back. Then Tant scored his first home goal, which has been it's been coming, but it has been a little bit of a come on, hurry up.
Yeah.
And then the penalty. Where
so I was on the curve, but right at the end right by the Secure Terrace, gesturing as if I'm there now.
Yeah.
So right at the end, and if I'm being entirely honest, I seem to be in the minority, but me and everyone around me thought it was absolutely a penalty, and to the point where I saw it happen, and nothing, because it took a while for the ref to make a decision, and I went, "Oh, we're getting away with that." And then obviously what proceeded to happen, but everybody else seemed to be like I've spoken to, convinced that it hit the post, and it wasn't a handball. But I'm pretty convinced from where we were that it was.
I was sure it was.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw it, my first instinct was, shit, that's a penalty. I think, and again, we all know my memory is awful, but I think that a few people behind the goal got a little bit went on autopilot as soon as they saw the handball, and they went handball and went quiet. And I think that's what the linesman was kind of going, hang on a minute, what did they do?
Yeah, it wasn't the sharpest tool, was it?
Yeah,
and then I think following that, he made the point of raising his flag for every little thing going.
It was that 2 seconds or so. I was like, we've got away with this. We've got away with this.
That was genuinely my thought.
Man.
And I said as much to my brother. I was like, oh, we're getting away with that.
But no, it's they obviously scored it as well, which was the highlight of everyone's evening. And then so we're going 2-1 down. But we'd kind of been all right. Apart from those 2 goals, it wasn't a huge amount to worry us. I know goals.
I think that we didn't deserve to. I mean, that first goal, especially. I mean, I don't think we deserved for them to go ahead twice. I just think it was a little bit of they've done nothing but score those 2 goals, and I think that's always a really frustrating thing when you think. When you can sit there and go, we kind of deserve that, and that's fine. They've had the majority of play, but I don't even think that they had that. I think it was just they got 2 goals. So I'm glad that we managed to dig ourselves out of that one twice, effectively.
But we had quite a few chances as well. I mean, on the penalty, we had a few chances to get rid of it as well before the penalty. But we had quite a few chances, and things it was starting to creep in with that little, is it not going to fall for us? But we absolutely battered them. Second half, we could have scored several goals.
We should have scored more, I think. But you take me there, don't you?
Exactly. But I have to admit, when that last attack, when Ali got the ball, I'm screaming shoot. And when he passed it out wide to Randall, I was like, oh. And obviously when he slotted it in, he's a world-class player. And but I did think, oh man, is that chance gone? But
I think even for me, before that, there was that bit of a kind of a scramble in the box where I think some of us thought maybe it went over the line and the keeper was on the floor, and I was like, I think that was in. My brother reliably informed me that it was not, but I was adamant. But I think even subbing off Isaac after scoring 2, I was like, are we sure? Like, what are we doing here?
and Enzio shortly after as well.
Yeah, and then you can kind of credit Donovan for contributing to that third, so it all works out in the end. But I was a bit like, why are we doing this?
Absolutely, I was surprised that he came off so willingly as well. I mean, it was always going to come off, but it was like, hang on, I want a hat trick here. So, and then Enzio coming off, I was like, he's just had his best game for us.
Yeah.
But again, come back to the point of this is why I pay to watch football rather than actually run a football team.
I am no football manager.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh yeah, that's why. But it was amazing, and you sort of leave there, as you say, on another high. And then the realization as you open up your phone and you have a look and you're like, that's third. We're more than halfway through the season.
And we're not far off that magical 50 that we all cling to, are we? And it's bizarre. And I said last night to a couple of people, I'm getting cocky. I'm absolutely getting cocky. And I always said, like one season in League Two, like, that's great kind of thing. But I never thought that maybe our one season in League Two would be because we go up to League One straight away. And I think it was a dare to dream situation, to be quite honest. Like, it may well not happen, and I wouldn't be upset if it didn't happen. Do you know what I mean? We're riding high, and this is more than I ever expected to have with Sutton. But League One would be nice. So if you're listening, Matt,
keep going.
I could go happy. Go on.
Don't listen to Bruce. Listen to us.
Bruce will slap me silly for that one. I
think when I sort of did this again, when I restarted it, I think Jenny had mentioned, and Bruce was walking past us, and he told her to shut up very clearly.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think he'd be best pleased in the slightest, but yeah.
But no, he's all joking. I mean, obviously he'd be
just got his calculator out. That's
exactly. Just sitting there going,
okay,
now what? Now what? How much is it going to cost me? That's what I do. That's what I do whenever
we get more money if we go up anyway. So I mean, that will surely work out.
That's what I have to do every time I hear, Dad, how much is this going to cost me? Just
lots, mate.
What do I need to pay? But just there was a lot of comment before the game started because obviously seeing the team sheet come out and no David.
I think everyone panicked, didn't they?
It went from 0 to panic really quickly.
I think I was quite lucky in that respect because very quickly after somebody had sent the team sheet round, somebody said, "Oh, he took a knock." So I felt quite, calm after that. But there was a lot of panic, I think, from a lot of people like, "Oh, it's January. Where has he gone?
Yeah.
Has he gone back?" And I think that everyone went into panic mode, which is totally understandable because we don't want to lose him, do we?
No.
He's very much our boy now, so they should just let us have him full time as ours.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a lot of people were wandering around going, "Oh, is that him sold?" And then there was 1 or 2 people on Twitter clearly trolling, going, "Yeah, he's been bought."
Yep.
No, go away, leave us alone. But yeah, it was a knock. Thank God. Well, not thank God. Obviously, we like him to play. But I did wonder again, being a little bit arrogant. I did wonder, did Matt think, well, he had a game on Saturday, apart from the wonderful cross, he was kind of in and out of the game. Let's rest him and have him strong for the game on Saturday against Northampton.
I mean, Saturday's the big one, isn't it? Really, it's a big deal. I did say actually yesterday to Dave when we were losing, I was like, I can't do the podcast tomorrow if we lose because me and Mike are the biggest pessimists going, and it'll be the most miserable thing anyone's ever
lived. That's it. Now we're all down.
I was like, what doom and gloom?
Yeah, I was looking at it all, and I was like, right, okay, let's see if all these teams win their game in hand on us, where are we going to be then? And I'm like, we're still in the playoffs, even if magically they managed to all do it. Would still there's a gap as well.
I mean, going into Saturday, I'd take a draw. All day long.
Yeah, I know. There's loads of people that love those phrases of "I'd take a draw." Well, who offers these things? But no, you're right. If we could argue, because I think they're going to be well up for it.
Absolutely, I think we both are though.
Yeah, well, because we kind of, I know you guys went to Northampton and came away, we've battered them, and then everyone has been watching Northampton going, "Is that the same team that we absolutely they looked awful? So how are they doing so well?" I mean, I'm hoping the guy from they're going to join us in a moment to give us an insight there. But yeah, it's just the whole season has just been.
It's
crazy.
Been an absolute dream, hasn't it? Really,
yeah.
I think it's like the scenes on Saturday of like celebrating a draw, and you would have thought that we walked away with some like ridiculous 7-0 victory with the way we all went about it, but it was just that euphoric feeling of like, we've got here, and I think anything else is a bonus. And I don't think going into this, any of us expected what we have. Like, we thought, we'll do all right, we'll hold our own, because as everyone says, there isn't much difference between, this league and the National League. But, it's still, it's big boy football, isn't it?
We didn't really know what to expect, did we? We were kind of like, oh, okay. Because we've all been brought up and fed a diet of non-league. We kind of, if we were all pushed, I think, well, certainly for me, if we were pushed to say, well, where do you see your club real natural home? I would have said top of South, bottom of National, somewhere there. But to go up another one, crazy talk. But yeah, I know there's a lot of us going on about 50 points. We were always going to be safe. I know from the start of the season, it's a big claim, but from the start of the season, I feel we're always going to be there or thereabouts. But as you mentioned, we've got a big game on Saturday. But before I jump into talking a bit more about that game on Saturday, there was a little thing I wanted to say. Is obviously starting the podcast, I'm all very, very professional, and I'm really, really good. And I've wanted to promise to bring everyone best podcast I possibly can. On that note, I'm going to bring in the Charles from Cobblers to me, who is an award-winning podcast. So I am delivering my promise of bringing you guys the best podcast.
I mean, I commented on when you were on with Dan the other day. I mean, no pressure on me bringing in professionals. I'm like, dear, oh dear, it's not quite what I signed up for.
So, how do you like the introduction there, Charles?
Yeah, thanks very much, guys. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it was very good. Thank you.
Good. So we are obviously playing you guys on Saturday. We've just mentioned, I don't know how much you heard backstage, is when the chaps went on earlier in the season, we beat you 2-0. And we've been a bit surprised at how it's gone for you since. How did you think it was going to go this season? And are we sort of ahead of our expectations?
Yeah, I think realistically, for me anyway, I was expecting this season to be a bit of a transition. We got relegated last season, obviously, and it was very much a case of sort of going new management team, pretty much a whole new side, more or less. So therefore, I was very much thinking to myself, it's probably most likely going to be one of those seasons where nothing too exciting happens. Maybe we'll flirt a bit with promotion, but it'll probably end up being one of those where we sort of do win, lose, draw type sequences. But it's turned out to be better than that. And I think mainly down to the fact that it's been the squad that's been put together and coaching team that's been put together have been so united with everything that that they're doing. There's a big thing for us with the fact that the coaching team are all local or have affinity with the football club from years past. Colin Calderwood is our assistant manager. He was our manager back in 2003, I think, 2003 to 2005 or 6. John Brady, who's the manager, was our youth team academy under-18s manager before he got promoted after Keith Curl's king. And Mark Richards is our former striker who lifted the League Two title for us back in 2016. So all of these people have all got, and even if you go back to that, the goalkeeping coach has come back to the club. I think he was away at Coventry. He was our youth team academy goalkeeping coach previously. Now he's been brought back to be the first team goalkeeping coach, our fitness coach, Ashley. He got the job having been at the University of Northampton, got an internship, and then went on and got given the academy and again promoted. So there's this big connection between all of them, and that then helps us connect with them because they're all pretty much local or have an affinity from previous times. And what they've done is that they've just brought this team of players in and they've shown them the community side of the football club. They've shown them what it means to play for Northampton and what it means for the fans. And they've all basically bought into it. And we're seeing that with the results on the pitch. It helps when you've got a couple of really good bits of quality in the squad as well, of course. But essentially, it all comes down to that unity, that teamwork, that team ethic. And I'd probably say that we're defying expectations. We are overdoing my expectations from the beginning of the season. But the problem is that, especially with us, with Northampton, because we are a bigger club in this division, therefore, the expectation changes as we go on. So now we're where we are. I mean, I'm just going to forget the fact that you put us down into fourth last night. And I'm just going to pretend that we're still in the automatics. But, we're in that top four. So my expectations now turn towards automatic promotion, playoffs at a bare minimum, essentially.
We're still talking about winning 50 points. We're very pessimistic. 50 points. But no, this sounds like a lot of similarities. A lot of our backroom are Sutton through and through, or connections with Sutton. Matt, the manager, didn't have. But I don't know if you remember, Claire, when he first joined and we heard that Matt Gray was joining the coaching staff, we were like, hey, it's Matt Gray, from a player from years ago, and it wasn't. So a little bit disappointed, but it's worked out all right, I think, in the end. But yes, same as a lot of the backroom staff, I've got connections to us, and all the players have definitely 100% bought into it. Just saying last night, Tanto, who's our striker from Millwall, scored his first home league goals, or first home goals at all, I think, actually, this season. And he was hooked off when he had got 2. And I'm not much of a player, but I would have been furious. But he just off he went and tried off. So it's all those little things that you're like, oh, this there is a good little group of players there. So what can we expect from you guys on Saturday? Are you going to come out all guns blazing? Do you reckon to get a bit of revenge, or?
I think the one thing that we are very good at is that as a team we don't really look like. There's no talk of getting revenge. There's no talk of having that kind of vengeance on the mind, or there's absolutely none of that at all. I think the most that we've heard anything already, I'm not sure, but the most that we'll probably get is going to be we saw how good Sutton can be on their day last time that we played each other. I think that is literally we are very respectful as a club, I think, towards the opposition. It doesn't matter who it is. And so I think we'll look to go out there and stamp our authority on the match. Now, the good thing about John Brady's management is that he really looks at each game individually. So he will really look to see who he's playing next, to see then how he goes and, tries to not just nullify the opposition, but then to find and exploit weaknesses. The Forest Green Rovers game on Saturday, prime example, he went 4-3-3, and we've not played 4-3-3 for goodness knows how long this season at all. It's been a long time. Not only did he go 4-3-3, but he also went strikerless. So he literally got full manager out of his boot and just started playing. I thought he was Jurgen Klopp. But it worked. And you're looking at it and you're just going, right, before kickoff, everybody's going, what is this team sheet? What's going on here? This is ridiculous. I can't believe the new guy Zimber on loan from Cardiff isn't starting. All this, that and the other. And that's what I was saying. And then we go out and we should have been about 2-0 up in the first 7 minutes. If it wasn't for the post and a decent save, I think, from their keeper, we would have gone 2-0 up early doors. Would have been a completely different match. It's difficult for me to then say, right, this is what you guys should expect from us, because our game plan will be based purely on you guys. So the only real worry that I've got is that Matt Gray does exactly the same, and then both teams either nullify each other completely.
Which is exactly what will happen, because I think we're in the same boat there, where we absolutely do our homework, and there are people out watching games all over the place, knowing what's coming up. So I think, that there is definitely going to be an element of that where we've both looked at what's coming up, and it will be interesting to see how that plays off.
So we're all putting our money on either a 5-5 thriller or a 0-0 ball.
Well,
either nullify each other out, or
it's going to be a 5-5 draw, isn't it? With you guys, you love a dingle, don't you? Crikey!
Yeah,
goals galore. Oh no, nothing boring happening in Sutton, is there? Crikey!
No. And people, again, last night, Claire, you probably saw this as well. People leaving on like 83, 84 minutes. And it's like, have you never seen any of our games? Why would you leave?
You never leave before the end. This is something that I got taught as a kid by my dad. You never leave before the end. You never know what's going to happen.
Absolutely not. Because I did that a long time ago. I was at a game with, I'm sure she's going to love it because you can hear me, with Sally. It was a cup match. I want to say Kettering a long time ago. I don't remember if it was or not. And we weren't playing very well. It was freezing and it was just petering out into... we were going to lose 2-1 or something. I don't know what it was. We were definitely going to lose. As I got out, the big cheer went up, and we actually ended up winning on penalties. So someone's going to know what game it was because we don't do many penalties anyway. But from that moment on, I was like, nope, I don't care if we're 4-0 down. We are staying until the very, very bitter end. But yeah, people streaming out is mad, especially as you say. I mean, the last two games, 97 and 93.
And that 97th minute goal, I mean, it felt like we won the FA Cup, quite frankly. It was just unreal. I mean, I was quite inebriated, so I'm surprised I noticed it. But it was incredible. So, definitely stays to the end. I think it'll be a hard-fought game from both sides. But as I said to Mike before you joined, I'd happily take a draw all day long.
We actually also mentioned what you were just saying about the questioning the decisions and the why is he doing this and why is he doing that. And we literally the words I said was, and this is why we pay to watch football and not run a club and not manage teams. But there were just a couple of little things. I don't know. I saw a little bit on social media. You guys obviously mentioned that there's no alcohol in the pub in the club. There isn't. We're not.
You saw that, did you?
Yeah, we're not there yet. This is. People have to forgive us and let us catch up because we're not supposed to be here. We still come from a very very background of swapping at halftime, all going into the bar afterwards and having a drink with each other, and we're not allowed to do any of that anymore. So it's all a bit strange for us. But there is a lot of the away fans go up to Gander, which is just a little bit up the road. And what's the other thing I saw? Oh yeah, if anyone's coming by train, apparently there's no trains going through West Sutton. So you have to come down the high street, which again is quite a nice stroll. But
it's a good pub crawl, actually, to be fair. There's a lot of pubs if you start at the top and work your way down.
Exactly.
Sorted. All sorted then.
I only have a grudge against a few of them. Anyway, moving on. So I will let you go because I know you've got another call to jump onto, Charles.
Well, I can stay for a bit longer if you want to. I've got no problem at all.
No worries. There was one other little thing I was going to mention, and as you heard in my intro, I'm not exactly the most professional in the world, but I got this email the other day, and it said that my podcast was in the Apple charts at 238, which first made me laugh, but then I realised it was a very niche, specific UK football podcast. So I was like, okay, we've narrowed it down. But then it made me laugh even more that I'd fallen 68 places because I didn't get to do one last week because we didn't have a match. And then as I looked up, I saw you guys were like 210. I'm like, hang on a minute, I'm mixing the top company here. I have no idea what this chart means. I've never seen it before in my life. I don't know what it comes under. But
I would happily talk you through it any time, Mike. Not a problem at all.
Would you?
I wouldn't worry about it, right? I mean, I'll put my work hat on here if you want for a second and talk about podcasting. But essentially, that chart is, we don't even necessarily know exactly how it works, like how you bump up and down and left, right, and centre. We've been as high as in the top 50 and then as low as not being it. So, I mean, it depends what day of the week you look. It depends what you've been putting out. It depends on loads of different things. And the one thing that you've just got to keep doing is just keep doing the podcast, keep talking to your audience, keep looking at, at the end of the day, what we do is actually the easiest type of podcast in the world to know who you want to listen. Because you just want Sutton United fans to listen. That is exactly who your target audience is. But you can always turn around and you can just go like this. Right, well, I obviously I don't know how many listens you get, but I turn around and look at my listeners and I go, right, well, if you get 1,000 listens to the episode, then I go, right, okay, how many people attend a home match? It's about 5,000 to 6,000 that will attend a home match. So therefore, I'm getting 1/5 of my audience. So I look at it that way and go, this is brilliant. If you're getting, forgive me, I don't even know what your attendance is. Normally a couple of thousands, roughly. So
just over 3 at the moment. Yeah.
Okay, so about 3,000. So 2.5 of those will be home fans usually because you only let about 7 of us come. And there's another little dig.
We haven't got the room.
And so if you then turn around and you're getting sort of 200 people listening or 200 downloads, whatever it is, then you get 10% of your, of your targeted audience. I mean, that's really good. I mean, in any other kind of marketing, then people will be biting your hand off and stuff like that. So. Just keep doing what you're doing. A lot of it is just about talking to your fans and talking about Sutton United. And it doesn't hurt if every now and again you say something controversial.
Yeah, no, I can't do that. I choose who comes on really, really carefully, don't I, Claire? Because
I don't know.
Well, sometimes 1 or 2 slip through. But as soon as someone comes on with an opinion, I'm like, hang on, you can't say that. I'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, I've lost connection. But yeah, I hear what you mean. I've had a couple other people say that. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Craig from Mansfield Matters. He said he has to admit when it's a loss, it does bump his figures up a little bit because he's got a lot of people wanting to join in the chats and stuff. But
you know, it's weird that, I mean, we're the opposite. So when we have especially if we have a run of feeds, then the amount of people listening goes down. I think that is simply because of the fact that people go, I've had enough. I don't want listen to even more about it. No.
Yeah.
So I mean, it swings and roundabouts with it. And essentially, and the one thing I would always say about the type of podcast that we make, you're making it for the fans. You're making it for the people that go to watch it. You're not making it for the football club. If you were making for the football club, then it would be a very different thing, and probably the same as what anybody else can go and get on, like, I don't know who covers your games, the BBC or local commercial or community stations. They'd go and get that info and that content from there. We're a unique position where we can turn around and we can call a spade. We can turn around and say, I don't like that player, not for him being him, but for his style of play or his performance levels or his form. We can say that stuff without the repercussions of you're not allowed to come and talk to our player anymore. You don't need that. And at the end of the day, it's the best part of doing this is that whenever you come and do your next one after you've been smashed 8-0 by us on Saturday, then you can come on and you can have a go at the goalkeeper for being terrible. You can come on and say strikers reviews. You can do all of that sort of stuff because you've got no one to answer to apart from your listeners. And at the end of the day, you're a fan of Sutton United. You both are. So you will know how you feel about any result. You'll know how you feel about the performance. And therefore, you can then project that. You know full well that the vast majority are going to agree with you. And the best ones that we sometimes get are when we literally are turning around and just saying what the rest of the fan base is saying. I mean, when we won at Wembley during lockdown in 2020, so we don't do it like this. We don't do a live stream on social media. We just record on a Sunday night, just the 3 or 4 of us, and then I edit it and put it out. And it goes live on the Tuesday. But for those playoff games, we decided to do live previews before the game, literally the half an hour before. And we didn't plan it, but we decided that we'd go live on Facebook and Twitter and everywhere straight after the games as well. I had a bottle of gin on my desk that was full at the start of the game against Exeter at Wembley. Come 3 o'clock in the morning, it was empty, and our chair had been on from America, and we were trying to get him to jump in a swimming pool in celebration. All this sort of stuff. It's mad, but it happened. But you're capturing and you're encapsulating exactly what the rest of the fans are feeling. No, so that's what you have to keep doing and just keep going.
Well, I mean, it's fairly new, and there were 2 people I'm actually going to mention because. At the Exeter match, someone spoke to me and said, "Oh, you're the guy that does the podcast," and it wasn't someone I knew. So there's people I know that I think feel obligated to listen sometimes, but it's a complete stranger. Some people I know don't listen sometimes. A complete stranger was saying, "You're the guy that does the podcast." I probably just panicked and was like, "Oh!" run away. And then when I was at the ladies' match, another guy said it as well. So. To Mark and Steve, hello, and I did promise I'd say their names so they can listen to it. And I am sorry, a panic look on my face, and I ran away because I wasn't really expecting it. If anyone else wants to say hi,
you don't expect from it. Yeah, it's the one thing you don't expect that's going to happen and that's going to come from it. You just have to embrace it, Mike, and take your new celebrity status.
It doesn't work for Mike because he's normally just such a grumpy person, doesn't want to talk to anyone, and now everybody wants to talk to him. I know. Doesn't go with this whole image.
Do you know the guy that came to the Leyton Orient match with me?
Yeah.
Claire, and various people spoke to me, and I sort of said to him, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I don't usually talk to that many people," and he just laughed. I mean, yeah, you said that the last time I came as well. And then when I went to one of the Pizza Cup matches with work as well, he went back to work and go, "He fucking talks to everyone. He gives all this shit that you don't talk to people, but he just chats to every single person." And I'm still come back from games thinking, I didn't talk to anyone. But apparently I do. Apparently I'm more sociable than I thought I was. But hopefully it's going to be a great game on Saturday. I do hope it's going to be the latter, the 5-5 draw rather than the 0-0 draw. But does anyone actually have a prediction?
Do you want me to go first, and then
Go
you
on,
can get
be
me
brave.
out of the way and you
With
can
Claire's face,
ridicule me?
I'm saying yeah.
I mean, we've been talking about this in our community that we have on Slack with some of our listeners, and everyone thinks it's going to be, although it might be a bit cagey, everyone seems to believe that there's 20 goals in it, and that might be wishful thinking, but I do think looking at what you guys, the Sun do, were you 2-0 down last night to come back, or did you just go behind twice? I can't remember.
Yeah, Saturday it was 2-0 down for 3-3, and yesterday was behind twice to come back and win 3-2.
So your guys don't give up. It's against Forest Green Rovers, on Saturday. That was a 95th minute equaliser. We don't give up. We don't stop. So it's going to be, I think, a really interesting game. And I think it's going to be a real test for both sides, to be honest, because you guys are flying, and you're probably flying on the amazingness of what you've achieved over the last couple of years, 18 months. So you're going to have all of this energy, you're going to have all of this, and you probably will look at us and go, I know that you've already beaten us once this season, but you're probably going to look at it and go, imagine if we can beat these. There's a few of those clubs that you will be doing that in this league with, the likes of Bradford, Leyton Orient, us. Whereas there's going to be other teams this league where you kind of look at it and go, don't know, Crawley, rubbish, Stevenage, whatever. That kind of stuff. Whereas with us, it'll be exciting, and the players, I will imagine, will be up for it. We've got to be up for it as well. I think, because we do owe you, I think it'll be exciting, but I think we'll edge it, and I'll go 3-2.
Okay. Claire?
I echo all of that, apart from the scoreline. I'm going to say that it's going to be, a bit extreme at points. It'll be a kind of a 3-3 going into the into extra time, and then I think we're going to clinch it with a fourth goal in like the 93rd minute or something ridiculous like that, just to bring it home in true Sutton style.
Yeah. Well, I'm going for the opposite of both of you. I'm going to go for that. The Matt is going to be drilling into the players to keep it tight. I'm going to go for a sneaky 1-0 and keep us all nervous and hanging on. An early goal and keep us all hanging on while the pressure comes on and on and on and on, and we'll go home.
I don't think my heart could take that.
No, I don't think I can take a 4-3 win either. So
I'd love it either my or Claire's predictions to be right, but all of the goals happen in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, so there's that leave at a 0-0 draw, boring game, and then suddenly the two managers go, right, now let's go for it.
Yeah.
like
a
in the
basketball
Rocky.
match.
Yeah. And Claire, you reminded me at the start of the call, and I promised I wouldn't forget, and I did absolutely forget. Who was your player of the day for yesterday?
I'm giving it to Will Randall.
Will Randall, just for that goal. No, he played really well last night. Did he get man of the match as well?
I don't remember who got man of the match. I think I was too busy,
Rocky.
floating on air out of the ground, to be quite honest.
Does that really say third?
I can't. If this is beyond anything in my wildest dreams, for years and years of being a Sutton supporter, this is just unreal.
We've been standing on the Ryman League terraces, watching. I don't want to disrespect any teams, but Hastings. Who else was down at Margate? We played a couple of times
just
as well.
Any team in Essex on a Tuesday night when it's pissing down with rain. You've suffered through those things. So this is insane.
This is mental.
See, normally I'd go onto a podcast like this, an opposition podcast, and I'd just be like, right, I'm just going to have a bit of banter. I'll throw some stuff at you. You're too nice.
Oh, no.
Both of you.
That's the thing
I feel really happy for you. It's so nice. This is a dream. It's brilliant for you. You're too nice about it. I would turn around and say, "Don't worry, you'll be back in fourth on Saturday." But I can't do it.
But even then, we'd still be happy. Don't get us wrong. We'd still be like, we're still fourth. Thank you for your time, guys. Thanks everyone for listening. Do chuck in any comments in the chat. I do like to read them. It does give my ego a little massage after I recover from the fact people are actually listening to me. And we will be back on Sunday. I can't actually remember who I've got on Sunday. I've got Harrogate, a guy called Jordan from Harrogate, and I've got JR coming on Saturday as well. Sunday, even because the match is Saturday. That would be a bit silly to have them on Saturday, wouldn't it? So take care. Thanks for listening, and see you all soon. Thank you. United! 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 United!